What would you say if I said that to you?
That you probably need a CAT scan.
That cracks me up, that one. That really makes me laugh. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back.
To Local Laughs with Jess and Em. And today,
We're out on location,
we're on site now. We're on set. We're very professional.
looking at studios because we've, gone global. Quite famous now.
I've kindly decided to sponsor them today as well.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So we've
today,
got a guest tonight.
we've got a guest speaker tonight. So tonight we're talking about conspiracy theories. And what we've done is Idiris is interested very much so in conspiracy theories. So we decided for this session, we would each pick a conspiracy theory, talk about what the theory is, and then some pros and cons, and then how we feel about it afterwards, and have a little discussion about it.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
So welcome.
Thank you for having me,
You're
guys.
so
You're more
welcome.
than welcome.
You're so welcome.
So who wants to go first?
I'll go first if you want. Do you want me
Go
to
on,
go?
Jess.
Yep.
Right, mine, because I'm fascinated by it, is the moon landing. Now, the
wow.
reason I picked it is because I didn't realise until like a few years ago that actually a lot of people don't believe that America ever landed on the moon. And I did some research, hence I've got some notes, and the reason they didn't believe it was because America was in a race with Russia to have the best technology, and they wanted to be the first people on the moon. Because they didn't have the money to fund it, allegedly, or they couldn't finish the project, they decided that they would fabricate it, this is the hoax, and with props and lighting and on set and whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain some of the reasons people think that this was a hoax, and I just want to see what you've got to think about it. Okay, so a lot of people said the moon landing was a hoax, and their reasons were, there's four main reasons. One, there was no stars in the background of any of the pictures that were taken. It's completely black, void space. Now, there should be, you would think, millions of stars in the sky.
Yeah.
Would you believe that? You
There
look up the
is.
sky, millions of stars in the sky.
We can see them
Yeah,
from
but,
here.
but we're on
You can see
planet
them from
Earth,
here.
so we would see them.
Well, so,
But
yeah, no, you are right, but space is made up of trillions and trillions of stars. So, in theory, you would expect to see them. But the answer to that was, and I have to refer to this because I have to get the technology right, is that the light from the sun hitting the surface of the moon was so bright that, similar to if you was in a big city, when you're in a big city at night, you don't see as many stars because the light reflects and you can't see them as well as you can on a dark night in a wide open space. So essentially the moon is too bright for a camera to capture something that far away in the distance, which is why they were harder to see. That's allegedly the case.
okay.
That's their first argument, right? So
Right.
you can't see any stars on the moon in the pictures. And my second theory was, apparently there was something that they call the sea rock, and this is where people thought it was a hoax because the sea rock was a little rock that was floating around at the time when they was doing this video or their footage, and the rock rotates and it looks like there's a C on the rock, like the letter C, right? So the theory was there's a hoax because that's a prop. Why would there be what looks like a letter C on the rock? And scientists and NASA replied to that and said that it was a hair, or it was something that must have been found during the development of them photos, and or it's something that someone tried to Photoshop in after the original footage was done. Right? That's the second theory, that when they developed the photo, there was a hair that must have been caught in the development, which is why it looked like a little C on the rock. Right, the next one was different shadow lengths. So when they was all standing up on the moon, giving it the big in their suits, walking about, the lengths of the shadows were all different, even though they were stood next to each other. So what they're saying is that maybe there was some faulty lighting if they was on a set. So I might be standing here. I mean, there's no comparison because you're so much taller than me, but if we were the same height, technically our shadow should be the same, yeah? If the light comes from the same distance. But what they're saying is that where the surface was so hilly and so obstructive that it's no different to standing on the top of a snowy mountain next to someone. and the ground being all it's not flat surface, that it was harder for shadows to be the right distance, or the right lengths, if that makes sense. That was the second one. The third one. And the last one, which is the one everyone goes on about, is the fact that they felt they could see the flag that was planted in the moon flapping in the breeze. However, everybody knows there's no air in space. There's no atmosphere in space, so there's no sound or anything like that. And what they said was, and I'll read this out, video footage of the astronauts hoisting up the flag and planting them in the ground. There was a slight breeze that appears to lift up the fabric. The moon, however, shouldn't have such type of weather because there's no atmosphere in space and there'd be no air to blow the flag about. So was this flag filmed in a drafty studio, all right, or outside somewhere or whatever? So the answer for that, for what NASA and scientists said, was that the flag was made specifically for obviously the purpose of being in the moon. And because of that, they had to put a wire over the top of the flag because they didn't want to lift it because there's no air, just to have a little bit of cotton like hanging down because there's nothing, there is no wind up there. So they put a bit of wire over the front of the flag to make it so that it was like movable so you could at least see that it was an American flag. And the fact that it looked like it was wobbling is because they had so much difficulty getting it into the ground. Okay?
Right.
That's the last one. So the conspiracy is, did we ever land on the moon? Now, I'm not technical and I've only done some brief research into what people thought and like what people said and what NASA answered and stuff. But when I looked into it deeply, I don't think, this is me personally, I couldn't work out how NASA and the best scientists in the world in America would put something on the telly for 600 million people to see, assuming there was no flaws. Like, how could they have done that?
If you're going to go at someone as
if
big
it
as
was
that,
a
you've got to
hoax,
have so many people involved to agree to do a hoax.
I don't know.
Something as big as NASA.
So the first time I heard about it, I was like, yeah, no, we absolutely didn't land on the moon. But the more you look into the research of it,
and to see
there is
the
an
logical
explanation
answer,
for
there
everything.
is an explanation for every one of those points that you've brought up. So, I mean,
what do you think? What do you think?
I believe we did land.
Yeah.
Because I cannot understand that you can fabricate something as big as that. And NASA and all the scientists sitting there thinking that nobody...
You bear in mind, all scientists from all the rest of the world, Russia, everyone, they know it's being watched. Yeah. They know this is happening. They know that the very split thing wrong will blow it out of the park.
So why would they open themselves... Exactly. Why would they open themselves up to do something like that? Why would you do that? And even with the flag, I think even... So are you saying, obviously, because there's no atmosphere, if you had a flag, so if we just use, say that, right, that was your flag on a pole, right? So are you saying it would just hang? And even when you picked it up, it wouldn't move? So when you've picked it up to stick it in, that would stay flat, that wouldn't move at all?
Movement, force, would make that move. So, but there's no air in space for it to naturally do this. So what they had to do is
you didn't see it flap. It was that split second of the camera that as you went like that and the flag went up, the camera could have clicked of it.
It could.
And so you don't actually see it flapping. It's just the case if that was sitting like that, all against the pole. So that's your pole, and it's all flat like that. The minute you go like that to done it, and it lifts up like that, and it's all gone, and the
it did have wires in it to try and make it look, like so that yes, America landed on the moon.
So that's the answer. But nobody knew about the wire. But if we didn't have any wire in it, surely as you picked it up and went like that, it would have moved up, and you could have took a split.
Yeah,
second photo.
That's what I reckon.
Yeah, so that's why I'm just...
And by the way, when I read about it, it was only really one person that questioned it, and then everybody started jumping on the bandwagon. I can't remember his name, he was a famous person. He questioned the legitimacy.
So then everybody's looking for the flaws, even more, and trying to pull it all apart. So
and how stupid are the best people, the most intelligent people in the world to put a prop floating in space with like a trademark on it.
And I can't think somebody like...
Do you know what I mean?
Why I don't think NASA would set themselves up like that.
What do you think?
It's too much of a...
think?
I think you're looking at it from the perspective of the world that we live in today, where we do question things because we have a lot more information at hand to question things. if you're talking about, say, the 60s, most people's main source of information was TVs. So if you
Why
saw
would they
something on
question it?
TV, why are you going to question it?
Yeah.
And I feel like you said, why would they do it? I think that's probably part of the reason why they thought they could get away with it. Because they could do it.
Idris, you are very intelligent.
Thank you.
Just to outsmart the Russians.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
but what a big thing to set up and risk something as big as NASA. To take a risk like that just to stick two fingers up at the Russians, go, we've done it first.
I feel like if they've landed on the moon, they would have gone back by now.
But again, do you also feel that because
there's nothing there?
Yeah.
There's nothing there because we haven't explored.
Oh man, I don't know.
But also they may
I need to do a bit more research into it.
They may have thought they could get away with it because we didn't have as much intelligence and
no one questioned that.
Yeah, we didn't. Things weren't to hand like we've got now to try and pull that apart. You just see it on the TV and you had to believe your own eyes. So you didn't. So maybe that's why they, again, the flip side of it, they knew they would get away with it because nobody would be able to pull it apart as much as that. They didn't have the technology or the resources to do that. So maybe. Yeah. So it's one that will remain.
Oh, it's very divided.
This topic that we're talking about right now kind of links to my conspiracy
theory. Okay, right, go for it.
Right,
go on then,
what's yours?
Cool. So the title of my conspiracy theory is called the Dead Internet Theory.
Okay, explain. What does it mean?
Explain. So I'm going to start off with a question. What if half the internet isn't humans? Ooh. What would you say if I said that to you?
That you probably need a CAT scan.
But this is where you got confused.
AI?
It's not half the people, it's half the traffic. So if you think about it, it's not that half the people on the internet aren't real, it's that half of the usage is being done by bots.
Yeah.
So like, I've got some figures here. So figures is, as of 2024, bots accounted for approximately 51% of all global internet usage. So bots use the internet more than we as humans do, which kind of links into how we as humans feel over time that the internet feels further and further away from the truth. Have you ever thought of that?
Oh my God.
Oh, that's mad.
That is mad. Yeah.
So in 2024, that was the first time automated traffic exceeded human traffic. In 2023, it was about 49.6%. So automation is growing, but there is some nuances behind those numbers too. There are 3 categories of bots. So there's good bots, which is like search engines such as Google. That's a bot everyone uses, and that will account for some of the internet usage.
Yeah.
There's commercial bots such as monitoring tools, price comparison services such as We Buy Any Car, Compare the Maker. That's also a bot. But then there's also malicious bots such as spam, fake engagement, theft.
Yeah.
And what's concerning is Imperva, which is a cybersecurity firm, approximates that roughly 32 to 30%, 37% of total internet traffic comes from malicious bots. So about 40% of all internet usage is from malicious bots. That's quite a lot. And then now there's a whole other can of worms of AI content generation as well.
Yeah.
Which is becoming a thing as well. And some analysis of large web data sets like Common Crawl suggests that over 50% of newly created web pages in recent years show signs of automation or templated generation, so AI.
Right, I have a question about this because this is a little bit off topic, but where we had to, you write a CV, you apply for a job, and these are my qualifications, and this is our blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Now, that isn't real because people are now going to apply for jobs and go, write my CV for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tell them how good I am.
Yep.
And then they can't. Then people are on their phones so constantly, including children, that they're going to get to a point where they've got no social skills. And they don't know how to articulate themselves.
We're getting to the stage now where even the government, they started it in Australia, but even when social media took off, it was the best thing since sliced bread.
Exactly.
You know, we all
We'd all
thought
connect to each other.
we'd all
and
connect.
You don't miss out.
It was used in the right
and it was
format.
authentic
You know,
as
you
well.
was
Everyone had nothing to show apart from them being
exactly.
themselves.
But now you've got it where you've got kids filming each other, beating the crap out of each other, and you know, all of the nastiness. So we've now sort of gone full circle to the stage that you've got the government talking about banning all of the social media for children under the age of 16. Instagram, Facebook, a lot of it. So
and it opens up a dark side to people that are not good people, that know they can infiltrate sites and they can do things and
but wasn't that,
to get in touch with kids and you know, all nasty stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was Chat GBT. It was one of the other platforms like that where you could put something in and it was generating like bad pictures of even children, like pornographic pictures of children. What was it? That's been recent on the news. So again, whatever you create to make the world more, that you know, you're all moving forward and we're all getting into the, you know, the internet side of stuff and AI. Again, that bad bit comes out.
Do you know what? I don't feel. This is my opinion. This is just my opinion. I don't feel that ethically we should have allowed AI to come into play.
No.
I don't think ethically it's right.
It's not.
I think there's a lot of generational side of that as well that I don't think we're ready for that yet.
Yeah.
I don't think we need it. I don't think we're ready for it.
Never needed it before.
Yeah, we never needed it before. And when you talk, you know, our generation, even yours, Idris, if I look back to when I was growing up, and my children don't understand and just can't contemplate that we never had phones.
Yeah.
They can't understand that I you know, mobile phones weren't out when I was growing up. And although we had issues and, you know, we still had things sort of thrown at us, my growing up in them years without a phone was far better than when you listen to what kids are going through now. Yeah. And they're constantly on it. And,
and you wouldn't have none of that. Kids are outside playing football.
And can't be off it.
Yeah.
You know, for more than, you know, they're coming out of school and all they want to do is just...
Obsessive. It is obsessive.
So it's... And
I do like that. That's a good theory.
That is good.
That's not what I thought it was going to be. Sort of, I like that.
Cool. So now this is where I think things get interesting. Okay. Why it feels like the internet is dying. Many users report feeds feel repetitive. I feel like everyone's got that.
Yeah.
Comments look generic, viral posts feel engineered, engagement feels inflated. That is the whole problem of social media nowadays, pretty much. And that is due to algorithms which prioritize engagement, controversy, and content farming.
I think, you know, like someone might put a post up and it might be a really heartfelt post about something and you'll get Derek from Poland or wherever, no one knows who he is and he ain't even got a profile, comment and go, you're an idiot, or something that just sparks an argument. You know, like there's people that will spark that argument for no reason whatsoever, and it's almost like sometimes I wonder whether that's a person. Do you know what I mean? Whether have you done that to see what travesty you can cause of the back of that?
So I feel like where the theory goes a bit too far on my end is some people believe that this whole process was engineered by governments to replace human discourse with bots so they can control the narrative on the internet a lot easier than they can now at the moment.
Yeah.
Because as you know, at the moment, a lot of governments are struggling with essentially their narrative online, and it's purely due to the fact that there's nothing they can do to control it. And that's one thing people say as well.
That's a good one.
But long story short, where I feel like where I agree is the economics of automation. There's too much money to be made from using bots.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, the internet lives on ads for revenue. If you can inflate the numbers, you so-and-so called are saying, come into my site, are using the internet every day, can charge higher prices.
Yeah, but that goes a little bit further as well in the fact that, you know, bots being used are even taking away people's jobs now.
Exactly.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
when you get into a stage where you're sitting in a restaurant and, you know, you might place your order with a human, the waitress is coming out, but it's being delivered by a robot.
Yep.
You know, and you know, the self-service in going into a supermarket, you know, you don't even have to be served by a person anymore. So
even in restaurants, you can use apps, you can scan
yeah,
barcodes.
Yeah, so it's, you know, what, it's going, I think, too fast, too quickly.
Yeah.
You know,
we need like a Skynet virus to just wipe it all out. Dun, 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 dun.
I
Watch
feel
this space.
Yeah, I'm wearing red eye tomorrow.
I feel
I'm
like the
contacting.
real issue is what is the long-term play? Because you can bring AI, you can bring automation, but
No, I don't
if
think
you're
that's
not
ever going to get any
adding
better.
value, like real value, where people can actually benefit from it, what is the point?
Yeah. If AI, and this moves on to you a little bit, but if AI was that brilliant and that good at formulas and whatever, can that not find cures for disease? Can it not? Do you know what I mean? Is there not a way they can manipulate that?
Yeah.
If it's that intelligent.
If it's, you know, yeah.
But then I feel like at the end of the day, people forget as well, AI is generated by humans. So there's an element that it could be flawed because it's being created by people who make mistakes as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is a good one.
Yeah.
I'm going to think about that.
So that was my topic.
That's good. Moving on to you.
Mine is a bit of a conspiracy because people, there are a lot of people that don't believe in it, and there are a lot of people that do. It's a little bit delicate as well, so I'm not going to really go too deep into it because I don't want to upset anybody. But mine is COVID.
Oof.
So it is quite a delicate subject. So, you know, there's a lot of conspiracy out there and a lot of people that think that COVID was man-made to wipe people off the planet because, you know, the population was getting out of hand. Now, I struggle to understand that...
there's a couple of conspiracies to force people to have immunisations so we don't know what's going into the bodies.
Absolutely.
And or it never even existed. Can we control people?
Yeah. Can we... Yeah. Now,
you know, like there's a couple of different ways of looking at it, but yeah.
Personally, I struggle to understand how heads that run, you know, countries all across the world could sit at some point around a table and all agree and go, do you know what, we've got too many people on this planet, we've got to cull it, we've got to get rid of people, let's chuck a virus out. I can't even begin to understand that would be, and for that to be done in such a cruel way, for all of those that suffered, for those that died alone, for what the NHS went through, for the, you know, you could go on, the mental health, the school shutting. There's not one person on this planet that wouldn't have been affected by the lockdowns, et cetera, you know, being apart from their families, having to live alone, you know, everything. It's just absolutely blows me away that anyone can think that would have been a man-made virus that would, you know, to do that. I just can't understand how we could do that. Again, with the virus, but, you know, the conspiracy opens again as how can we so quickly come up with a virus within 3 months that's, you know, stops killing people and that is meant to protect us, yet we still, after all of these years, cannot find a cure for cancer.
Oh, you mean we immunise
so
the virus?
So we brought out the COVID jab.
Yeah.
That was man-made and bought, you know, that was rolled out within 3 months, I think, of COVID, you know, being out there. And this vaccine was available. It was going to help us. It was going to protect us all. We all need to go and get that jab.
When people went, I'm not putting that in my body.
Yeah.
Because you think the long-term effects of asbestosis, people didn't know that it would affect them until 20 years later. So a lot of the people that said, I'm not taking it, is because countries didn't know what the long-term effects are going to be. I might end up with 2 hearts by the time I'm 70. You know, I just don't know.
Go back to the 60s and the 70s when they was doing all the immunisations for children, and then all these children ended up with ADHD and autism and deformities. So I can get the understanding of people not want it, but the amount of people that also, on the flip side of that, was so frightened and petrified, went out and got that jab, believing that was it, they wouldn't get COVID, it would protect them. And so for the experiment to prove whether you could control people or not, the numbers of people that went out and got that injection.
I had to.
Yeah, and
but that's because I wanted to go. I'll go away a lot. I wanted to go abroad, and I was like, you can't go.
I didn't get an injection.
Did you?
Did you not? And what was your decision behind that, not to get that?
So the reason why I personally didn't get an injection is I feel like with vaccines, it's a very, very long process in terms of testing, trials, everything. Vaccines normally take 5 to 10 years to come out anyways.
Yeah.
And also a lot of these pharmaceutical companies signed waivers with governments to basically not make them liable if things go wrong. So my logic was, it's been done at probably 10 times the pace. There's no liability for them if it goes wrong.
There's no long-term result.
Yeah.
And there were a small amount of people that ended up having, dying from having that. From
There was
their
a
heart
random symptoms.
Yeah,
like,
clotting in the heart and things
Yeah.
like that. They was having heart attacks.
Definitely.
Healthy before,
Yeah.
and then having that injection.
but there's
the
is there a connection? Is that what caused it? Can they prove
Yeah,
that having that?
Yeah.
Because we've had the flu jab for God knows how many years.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Well,
Yeah, it's a tricky one to think whether I would hope to believe that that we didn't need
There
to
was
create.
definitely, I believe there was a
something like-
virus, and the only reason I say it is
Yeah.
because I don't suffer with ailment or illness really, and I tested positive once, I think, and my back was so bad. I had such a bad pain in my back, and I did ache for 3 days non-stop. And then when I got over it, my husband had the same symptoms, and he was and it was unusual symptoms,
Yeah.
like it just
But
odd.
it was the length of time. To say it just wiped your.
I lost a lot of hair. I lost a lot of hair when I had
did.
it.
My daughter did. All her hair started to fall out.
Yeah.
I had COVID 4 times, and half of that, twice I was so ill. I was in bed for 3 to 4 days.
Did you get
ill.
it?
And
Yeah, I
twice
got
I was all right.
I got it 3 times.
Oh man, you
Yeah, I had it 4
germs,
times.
mind
Yeah.
you. But then I could have
was
had it and
mad.
not known. 'Cause
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
had any other
And
symptoms.
that's the thing. I think my fun fact for you, my university, I went to University of York. We had the
Boffin.
first official COVID case in the United Kingdom.
Oh.
So what happened was, this was January 2020. So that tells you how long
Yeah.
COVID was in the country
Yeah,
before they decided
yeah.
to do anything.
Yeah.
My uni had a lot of Chinese international students. They made up about 20-25%. And one of the parents came to visit his child and took him around campus, took him to restaurants. Then he dropped him with dad off at the hotel. And then a day or two later, we're hearing on the news that the hotel's being quarantined off. Everyone in there has been isolated. They've got to go into quarantine. And then
Did it come from China?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did come from China, yeah.
Yeah. And then
It was linked to bats, wasn't it?
he was linked to like
When it's
bushmeat, essentially.
Yeah,
something
something
like-
like that,
yeah.
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 Because they eat like weird stuff.
But essentially, I knew about COVID before most people even knew what it was. People started getting ill on campus,
Yeah.
and no one really knew what was going on because there wasn't
is
that much
crazy, innit?
information.
Oh my God, tell him about your... Tell him
So
about
I've got an interesting fact.
Okay.
I didn't know
about-
this
about
either.
this,
You're going to
right?
go, I knew that, you're a boff.
No, you can't. Surely you can't tell me that you know this just because I'd be really shocked if you knew this. So, in 2021, Dolly Parton, you know her song Jolene,
Yeah.
right? She adapted that song in 2021 to sing "Vaccine" to help guide people to get in the COVID vaccine. She also donated $1 million into research for the COVID vaccine, which helped create the Moderna vaccine. So, thanks to Dolly Parton and her $1 million, that helped create... Yeah, and her tune. So don't sing Jolene. Vaccine, vaccine, vaccine.
Got rid of the ladies. I'm here by myself. I would like to tell you guys, subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you guys.
I don't even... no.
Area 50.
Right, theory, just quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We're not the only ones in the galaxy. There's no possible way that could happen. There's
I
trillions
agree.
and trillions of planets.
I agree.
We're not the only ones
Paul
that
the alien is not in
Paul-
Area 51.
Paul the alien
No, he's not.
flew into the desert, crashed.
And they've scooped him up and built Area 51. That's what you're trying to make me believe.
Because it landed in the desert and technology, they
Right.
know something's coming. They know something's coming. All the people around that area said something crashed on site. They were told they weren't allowed to talk about it. Like, there's footage of them all being videoed saying, we were told we're not allowed to talk about it, but we need to talk about it, like you would. Something crashed over there, blah, blah, blah. And they shut the whole thing down within God knows how long, like that, and then built a base over it. So something crashed there. We know something crashed there. And then they shut the whole thing down. Now, you can't tell me that a plane crashed there and they did that. That's not it, man. Paul is in there. 100%. And they go, oh, it's a military base. Well, out of nowhere, overnight, like that, because something crashed in the desert. No way.
Let me tell you something.
Go on in.
You know Paul.
You are Paul.
It's over in a minute.
Go on in.
I
What do you
think for the fact that Area 51 is probably the most heavily guarded place on Earth.
Yeah.
And considering America's got Fort Knox, which has got billions in gold in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something to hide.
There's something there. If you turn up
but
and they warn you away and you don't go, they will shoot you on site, dead. Bang.
If you don't have a clearance, you're not allowed in.
You're not allowed in.
And
They
you
will
don't
shoot
even know
you.
who's got a clearance.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's lots of places that you can't just walk
Doris
into.
that probably delivers milk up there's in on it.
Right, I think we need to do we need to do another podcast then about Area 51.
Or aliens and that.
Yeah. And what we believe and what we reckon, yeah? We'll have to reconvene and do that.
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed tonight?
No, it's been good, man.
It's been good, isn't it?
Conversation.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Sometimes we play games and everything like mad ones. We've had
We
like
do quizzes, we do lots of different things.
Yeah. So you'll have to come and join us again, Idris. It's been a pleasure having you here.
Yeah, yours was a
you
good
for
topic
having
as
me.
well. I love that.
Things to go away and think about. And always thanks to our producer Sienna,
Yeah, as
who's
always.
come out on location
Yeah.
today.
And
Well
we
done,
actually
thank
look very
you.
professional today. We look like we're
Yeah.
about to talk about the news and the weather.
Yeah,
It's cold
it's freezing.
all week.
So yeah, stay
Thank
tuned.
you so much.
Keep watching, and we'll see you all soon.
And let us know what you think about our conspiracies. If you do, log in, send us an email.
Yeah. Take care, guys.
Take care, bye.
Bye.